Oh yeah!
Festival Flicks Mountain Adventure Film Festival, talking with Erik Lambert from the American Alpine Club. And we're very excited to talk with you about the Live Your Dream grants sponsored by the North Face and learn a little bit more about that. Super excited about that. And so Erik, tell us a little bit about what the Live Your Dream grants are.
Thanks, Ben. Live Your Dream grants are have been around for about 3 years, and they're supported by the American Alpine Club with some funding from North Face. Thank you, North Face. And the grant really is a way for climbers of all ages, all disciplines, all abilities, all persuasions to take their climbing to the next level. So the whole concept behind it is that for many years we gave away some super elite grants here at the American Alpine Club for climbers pushing their boundaries in the great ranges of the world, and those grants were going to sponsored climbers. Those grants were going to people who had been climbing for 20, 30, 40 years. And the American Alpine Club's gone through quite a bit of change in the last 5 years or so, really with a focus to become more relevant to the everyday climber. And we decided to kind of not stop doing these elite grants, but to add a new grant that would reach kind of everybody else, rather than just the 1% of like super elite sponsored climbers. So this grant, the idea behind it is that it provides seed money, so it's not huge amounts, $200 to $1,000 generally, to support trips that could be close to home, but they could also be halfway around the world. The idea is that the grant doesn't fund every penny that you might spend on a big trip, but it does get you and your buddies dreaming about what you might go out there and do, and what you might do to take your climbing to the next level. And what we hope happens is that you go out there and inspire other people to go big and advance kind of your own personal knowledge of the mountains in the world, and bring that back and inspire others. And maybe, heck, I mean, hopefully there's some sort of progression where you see some advancement in your own skills so that you can apply for one of these bigger grants that we have. And we've actually seen that happen. We had 2 girls apply for a Live Your Dream grant in 2012, Jewel Lund and Kim Havel, and they went to the Bugaboos, honed their skills, learned a lot along the way, and had to do a lot of planning, right, to be able to go take that first trip. And through that process, they really gained a lot of confidence and in each other and in their skills. Took that to the Bugaboos, climbed a lot of great stuff, had a lot of fun along the way, and then came back and ended up applying for a McNeil Knott Award, which is a much more significant grant, and won that grant 2 years later. So, we've been really happy with the success of the program. We started out with about $10,000 in 2012, and the grant this year will award about $50,000. So it's grown exponentially, and it's something for everybody. So that's what we're most excited about.
Well, that's awesome. So for the everyday climber, so we heard about those girls. Can you give us more examples? Like, tell us how some of the grants have been used, some of the projects. Is it everything from going and climbing at a new crag or doing a big mountain, or you know, how is it used? Like, how are people dreaming? Like, obviously, we see the big movies, we see how the pros are doing it, but what's some of the common dreams?
That's a great question. So yeah, we've got every discipline of climbing, every age of climbing. I give you a couple examples. You know, the main thing is that we want to see people progress their skills, and we hope that they dream something that they're capable of, but that they're also is going to push them, and it's going to push them to do better and get strong and work with their partner, maybe find a mentor. And so we've seen a lot of mentorship applications where people are, you know, maybe don't have a ton of outdoor experience and want to learn how to lead outside. We had Deirdre Wolonik, who's actually Alex Honnold's mother. She applied for a grant 2 years ago and won a grant to go out to the Gunks in New York and learn how to lead climb. And she led high exposure, which is a pretty significant and heady lead. And so that's one example. Gary.
Now, how old is she?
She's about, oh geez, putting me on the spot here, but I would say she's probably in her 50s. So,
that's awesome. So you can learn at any point in your life. It's not about being in your 20s and having some grandiose idea. It's for anybody.
Absolutely. And we also have folks who are pretty young, and a lot of folks in their 20s applying who have spent, gone to college, climbed in the gym, and are kind of exploring the whole outdoor world of climbing. And it's just great to see. We've had, and then from as far as the disciplines go, we've got people who are, collecting microbe samples at 7,000 meters. This guy, Harry Mix, that was his dream, was to do some science way up high in the mountains, and that's the highest that microbe samples have ever even been collected. So, your dream can take many forms. It could be, learning to climb. It could be going to the high peaks and helping advance science. It could be discovering a new bouldering area. It could be ski mountaineering in a place that has never been skied. We had a couple people, Christopher Marshall and Jake Gaventa, did a ski mountaineering expedition to the Nicola Mountains last year, and that's a place that has really seen almost no ski travel. So it can be exploration of yourself, and it can be exploration of a new place. And again, it's really for people of all ages, all disciplines, all abilities, and yeah, if you've got a dream, we'll try and fund it.
That's great. Now, for people who do get the grant, what do they bring back for you? Do you want footage, photos, essays? Like, what do they need to bring in response?
So just to kind of provide some basics here, the grant application period is open right now. It's going to end on March 1st, so I want to make sure people know that if you want to apply for this, you've got a few weeks to get your application in. And the way that works is that you apply regionally. So what we do is we have grant committees in 6 different regions around the country. And the idea behind this is, follows the philosophy of the American Alpine Club, which is that we want to listen to what communities around the country need and want, and then serve those communities the best we can. So the idea is that you actually apply to your own region, and then the people who are heading the committee in that region will kind of know what the region might want, hopefully, and award the grants on a regional basis. So if you go to the American Alpine Club website and look at our grants page, you can find the applications there. Yeah, and if you do win a grant, you are expected to bring back some media, photos, a trip report. If you want to take video, that's great. And then we're hoping that, the whole reason that we want to give you a grant is that you have a great story, that you want to progress your climbing, that you want make some change in the world and for yourself. And so because of that, we think that we've seen some great stories and videos come back in, and people get really excited about hearing about others' adventures. So we do request that you provide a trip report and some photos when you get back, and in some cases we're going to be using that to kind of advance the grant and work with North Face, and perhaps your story could even be told through the North Face site.
That's awesome. Now, first of all, do you have to be an American Alpine Club member to apply or to receive a grant? And if so, what does that bring you as a member? And then also beyond that, like, what motivated the North Face to want to get behind this?
Totally. So first off, you do not need to be a member to apply, but you do need to be a member to win. So if you've got a dream and you haven't quite joined the club yet, that's okay. You can still submit an application. But if you win some money, part of the deal is that you've got to join up and be part of our community and sign on for kind of our values and our mission and our vision. And a big part of what North Face sees in this program is that a huge initiative that they have is just getting people outside, getting people really excited about the outdoors. And this is a way to kind of get the folks who've already dabbled a little bit within climbing to take another big step and become kind of leaders in their own communities and in the outdoor world by saying, hey, like, let's do this. Let's go explore. Let's go adventure. Let's do something big and tell the world about it. And they're 100% behind that. It just fits nicely with their philosophy.
That's great. So we've got, for everybody who's watching with us on YouTube, feel free to join the chat and type in your questions. We're watching. Eric and I can keep talking, but we definitely want to answer any questions that people have, because the whole goal of this today is to get you inspired with the Mountain Adventure Film Festival online, so you can watch what a lot of pros are doing, and then take that to inspire you to go to the Live Your Dream grants and apply for funding to go live your own adventure. And then, of course, we want you to video that, write about it, clearly send it back to them, but also with the film festival, Flicks Mountain Adventure Film Festival, send those videos to us too, because we want to see it and we want to share it with the world, because I think one of the beauty of all these films is that from the comfort of your home, it inspires you to want to get out there and do what they do. It's not about being the armchair quarterback. It's about discovering the world, the people, the cultures, pushing your own boundaries, exploring yourself, and thanks to the American Alpine Club and the North Face, there's funding to help you do that, which is pretty awesome. So we'll wait and see if questions come in. But Eric, whose brainchild was this?
I guess I won't be modest. It was kind of my brainchild, but I honestly took the idea from a grant that was at my college. We had two different grants that supported people getting outside, and one of them was a mountaineering club grant, and one of them was called the Schlitz Fund. And the mountaineering club grant was a big deal. You had thousands of dollars that were being given for huge expeditions. But the problem with that, while it was great and while people would come back with really incredible stories, is that there were only a couple people in the entire university who could even apply to do that, who had the skills to do that. Whereas the Schlitz Fund really opened up a lot of doors for people to start dreaming about what they could do with their friends or what they could do to on their next spring break. And the way the Schlitz Fund worked is that lots and lots of people who applied were funded, but they were funded with small amounts of money, the seed money. And everybody talked about the Schlitz Fund. It was something that that was kind of the buzz around Dartmouth. And the reality is that when I came to the club, we were trying to reinvent ourselves, and have pretty successfully over the last few years, as a more accessible organization that welcomes all climbers and people who love climbing. And when I looked at the grants, I basically saw a number of grants that looked very much like our Mountaineering Club grant, that was super elite, high dollar value, and I wanted to kind of introduce something else that would be more relevant to climbers, that everyday climbers, and that would get people dreaming in the same way that the Schlitz Fund did back at school. Looks like.
So what's? Oh, do we have a question?
Yeah, I see a question. Nasakowski.
Okay.
What do you need to do to apply? So it's a good question. If you hop on to AmericanAlpineClub.org, there is kind of a big Live Your Dream splash photo. You can click on that, or just navigate to the grants, or do a search in our search bar for Live Your Dream, and you should be able to find the Live Your Dream landing page. And on that page is a bunch of information. There's frequently asked questions. There's some examples of some grants that have been given out, and there's also links to download the regional application. So just make sure that you see figure out which state you're living in. And right now the grant is only open to American climbers. But yeah, pick the right regional application, download that. It's only a couple pages. It asks you for a little bit of information, a couple hundred words on what your dream is and what your skills are. So that's how you apply, and then you can just shoot that in by email to the email address that's in each regional application. And we've had enormous growth in the application numbers over the years, but we've also had enormous growth in the amount we've given out. So it's actually more likely at this point to get a grant than it was when the grant started, even though there were over 350 applications last year. We will plan to give out about 75 grants in 2015, but you got to get your application in by March 1st.
Is there a fee to apply?
There's no fee. It's totally free. You just need a dream.
So what's your dream expedition?
What's my dream expedition? Oh man, well I'm mostly a boulderer, so I would love to go kind of take a tour of some of the classic bouldering areas around the world. I've been to Castle Hill in New Zealand, but there's a lot of places I haven't been, including Fontainebleau and Rocklands in South Africa. And so that would be my dream, is to maybe climb with someone who I really respect and admire in some of these really classic places that have a lot of history, and that would allow me to test my own kind of development in bouldering.
So maybe a tour of France with Frederick Nicole?
Yes, please. Yeah, we haven't had a ton of celebrity-style dreams, but if you're able to convince someone to do that, that sounds like a really great idea. And we are kind of, this is a little bit under wraps, but we're trying to work with the North Face to get their athletes a little more involved in the grant, because this grant is one of the programs that they've been really psyched about recently, and so we're hoping they can provide some additional resources through their athletes to review applications, which actually did happen last year. They put a athlete on each of the 6 different committees that chose the grants, so that was super cool. And then I'm hoping that we can get a Conrad Anker to give you a call if you've got a really inspiring grant, and have him give you some beta on how to pack, or what to look out for in the Alaska range, or whatever it might be that he could provide. Or another North Face athlete could just write a letter of support. So we're talking with them to make some of that happen. And so even if you don't have a celebrity on your climbing team, maybe you'll get to talk to a climbing celebrity as part of this grant process.
I think that'd be awesome. I mean, beta is everything. I mean, that's half of the daunting task. For most of my life, I've had dreams of doing the Lotus Flower Tower, but I've done a lot of big alpine climbing. I've never done an expedition that involved airplanes and helicopters and multiple days, and I wouldn't even know where to begin. So that's half. That alone would be worth its weight in gold. Just to have someone say, "Look, here's how you do it. Here's what you have to prep for, and here's everything that's going to go wrong, so that you can anticipate it." Because then there's a real shot of having better success. Because it sucks to fail before you even get to the wall.
Yeah, and I I've just been really impressed with all the ways that with a lot of the applications that have come in that do revolve around mentorship, whether it's someone who's 30, 40 years older and has been through the ringer and knows so much and has so much in their head, and like how a lot of these applicants are really kind of trending toward trying to mine all that information, whether it's beta or whether it's just knowledge about the mountains or whether it's something else. But that's been great, and sometimes that mentorship even happens among teammates, where we had one grant application where two women went to Canada, and one was an extraordinary rock climber, and one was an extraordinary ice climber, and they went up into the mountains and found mixed lines and basically helped each other grow in the discipline that the other one was weak at. So they taught each other as they went on their trip. So we love seeing applications like that.
Well, that's great, and I would imagine too there's other organizations like, was the one about collecting science samples at high altitude, did they do that in conjunction with adventurers and scientists for conservation, or was it just an independent goal that the climber had?
That specific expedition, I believe, was an AAC affiliated trip. If you're not familiar, we've connected a number of our members with scientists, so people who are out there exploring can actually help gather data for scientists who need data collection in these really hard to reach places. I'm not positive that was one of those, but it sure fits the model.
Well, that's great. So I think we'll probably we've been talking for a little bit. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you think is important for people to know?
Just remember that the deadline is in a couple weeks, and that you can always reach out. We're a club, so that's what we're all about, is helping each other and making things happen. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out to the American Alpine Club, and we'll help you answer it. But the applications are on our website and pretty self-explanatory, and fill them out, email them in, and happy dreaming.
Awesome, thank you. And you know, what's the website that they go to?
It's AmericanAlpineClub.org/grants.
Great, and I've seen too, searching around too, you guys have meetup groups as well, so people can join that and be exposed to opportunities and to meet partners.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I should talk a little bit about the club as a whole. When you do join, you get access to a whole host of benefits. First and foremost, you're just connected to a community of 15,000 climbers and people who really have a passion for climbing. And our whole philosophy here is that together we're stronger. So we help each other accomplish things. We help each other by coming together, and every member has access to $10,000 of rescue benefits, so that when you're out on your trip, you don't have to worry about things going wrong. If you do get hurt, we'll come get you and pay the cost. And we also come together and provide each other with stewardship opportunities. We have big events around the country. We have 9 Kragan Classics that are happening this year, which are basically climbing festivals where there's a component of clinics, a component of stewardship, and obviously just hanging out and having fun and climbing too. And we also have launched a member share network on our website, so that once you're a member, you can actually go on there, and 7,000 members have opted in to basically share resources, whether it's hey, you can stay on my couch if you're coming through town, or I've got a guidebook you can use, or hey, I want to go to the gym and I climb 510. Is there anyone else out there who wants to go with me? So you can find others who have a similar passion for climbing and also have resources to give and to take, and to yeah, we're here to make climbing a better thing, and a better thing for you, and a better thing for the greater community. And we advocate for climbing. We do conservation grants and projects, and just come together to make climbing better in America.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And again, this has been done as part of the Film Festival Flicks online mountain adventure film festival. If you haven't gone there yet or discovered it, please go to our website, filmfestivalflix.com/mountain-film. Or if you go to the website, you can just click on the tabs. But we have this year 44 films that have all won awards at the mountain festivals all over the world, and they range from a couple minutes to feature length. And like Netflix, for $19.99, you can binge watch. You can see all of them whenever you want, how you want. It's all for you. We're going to be doing more conversations like this, but I want you to go support what these other athletes and filmmakers have done and get inspired to go have adventures of your own. So I'd like to thank Erik for taking the time to join us and tell us about this amazing grant. And I really, really hope that you will go out there and take advantage of it, because this is awesome.
Thanks for having me.
All right, everybody. Let's see. All right, live your dream. Thank you very much, and we'll see you online.